Spartans as military hardware. My Spartans are humanity's next step. Our destiny as a species. Do not underestimate them. But most of all, do not underestimate him.
What's up guys, this is Lance with GameZone.com and this is the Halo 4 video review. It's been 5 years since we've had a Halo game starring Master Chief, and it wasn't until I started playing Halo 4 that I realized how much I missed him. 343 Industries tasked themselves with the burden of making Master Chief and Halo better than before, and they've succeeded. What they've done is take a popular FPS series, put their stamp on it, and recreate it with a focus on cutting-edge visuals, character development, and a strong narrative, all while feeling like a real Halo game. What they've accomplished will make Halo fans undoubtedly happy.
I will not allow you to leave this planet!
The biggest improvement over other Halo games comes from Halo 4's strong story and intense characters. Master Chief is more emotional and intense than we've ever seen him before, and a big part of this is due to his relationship with Cortana. Master Chief is more emotional and intense than ever before, and a big part of this is due to his relationship with Cortana. Through 3 Halo games, they've been through hell with each other, and their friendship is explored deeper than ever before. I actually found myself caring more about their story than the new enemy that had risen to destroy humanity. The characters now feel like real characters, having legit emotions and responses to the things happening. The feel of the game is a bit reminiscent of Halo Combat Evolved, where you're thrown into a conflict you don't really understand.
To surrender that AI! No, sir.
The villain in this game is the Didact. He's the villain that Master Chief's been waiting for. He's powerful and he hates humans, so what more can you ask for? These strong characters would be for naught if they weren't brought to life by some of the most gorgeous graphics ever seen in this console generation. It is not a stretch by any imagination to say that Halo 4 is the prettiest game on the Xbox 360. The Promethean enemies look terrifyingly gorgeous. Human characters look so realistic, you'll have to stop and make sure they're not real actors. And the environment's range and beauty, from vibrant open landscapes to the cold, metal, mysterious interior of an alien construct. Oh, and those particle effects? Watch Promethean enemies die and deconstruct into an orange digital ember. The Promethean weapons animations are also mouth-watering. Needless to say, Halo 4 pushes the envelope in the graphics department. All this would be for naught if the game didn't play well. Luckily, Halo 4 feels like a Halo game at its core. From energy swords and gravity hammers to battle rifles and needlers, the combat is fast, action-packed, and a ton of fun. The controls feel a bit more precise, including how responsive and accurate the use of armor abilities are. If you didn't like Halo's style of combat before, Halo 4 won't change your mind, but the series style has become this popular for a reason. My main problem with the campaign is the level design. It just feels a bit lazy. Sure, each level is visually impressive, but the level layout is just uninspired. For a campaign that doesn't take longer than 6 to 8 hours to complete on normal, I should never feel like the level is lasting too long, which I often felt. Maybe it's because I feel like I've seen these levels in other Halo games. While the multiplayer maps are better, they also feel really familiar. That's both a good and bad thing, but there's not one map that stands out that's truly different. You'll also have your standard driving and piloting segments in the game, including a sweet piece that's reminiscent of the Death Star trench run. The best vehicle combat easily comes from when you're in the mech. It's legend, wait for it, dairy. One other big gripe I have with the game is the final battle, which essentially becomes like Call of Duty. I would have much rather seen that last fight played out in a cool cutscene, which are amazing when you see them, than having to push a button to input a nonsensical command. I felt like 343 Industries really missed a big opportunity at the end of the game. That being said, the Promethean forces are a force to be reckoned with, and there's some stellar enemy AI work taking place. Now let's get to the multiplayer. All your player vs player matchups will come via Infinity in the War Games section. I spent most of my time with Infinity Slayer, which is your typical 4 vs 4 team deathmatch with ordinances. Ordinances are weapons or temporary power-ups that you can earn during the game. When you get an ordinance, use the D-pad to select one of 3 different items, such as an overshield, increased damage, a shotgun, or a saw rifle. All the other matches that you expect are there, like Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, including a few new additions, like Dominion, Extraction, and Regicide. One thing multiplayer excels at is the progression and loadouts. Outside of the default loadouts, you're now able to control what your primary weapon, secondary weapon, grenade, and armor ability will be with 5 custom loadout sets. As you play, you earn experience and level up, and when you level up, you unlock weapons, grenades, and armor abilities, which you can then purchase with Spartan points. There's also tactical packages and support upgrades that you can purchase with your SP. Think of them as perks from Call of Duty. The tactical packages will give you upgrades like unlimited sprint or the ability to carry 2 weapons instead of 1, while support upgrades give you upgrades like faster reloading and starting with more ammo from your loadouts and ordinances. Between support upgrades, tactical packages, weapons, and armor abilities, including this nifty new auto sentry ability, you can really make some unique loadouts that suit your playstyle. I will say, I am disappointed that there's no firefight mode in Halo 4, as it was one of my favorites in the other Halo games. In its place is Spartan Ops, which is a decent replacement. It's an episodic, story-driven mode that will have 4 players exploring Requiem, the planet where most of the Halo 4 takes place. Every week for the next 10 weeks, players will be given a new cinematic that progresses the story after the events of Halo 4. The problem with this mode is that while you're still fighting waves of enemies, each mission comes to a close, something that didn't happen in Firefight. Overall, Halo 4 does the franchise proud. While there are a few minor gripes, like no firefight and some weak level design, 343 Industries has done a fantastic job of redefining the Halo experience. It's still the great combat of past Halo games, with a little tweaking, but now it adds a story that resonates with the player. Master Chief is brought to life and feels like a person more than a super soldier, like never before. And the Cortana and Master Chief storyline is one of the most captivating and heartbreaking stories I've ever experienced. All of this is packaged into one of the most visually impressive games of this console generation. The care that 343 Industries handled Master Chief with has to be applauded. Halo 4 is a stud of a game, and one that this console generation will be remembered for. This is Lance with GameZone.com.
Whatever the librarian did to you obviously worked.
Cortana. It's not over. Not yet.
Not yet.